7. First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
Do I have a bump? Yeah, it was strange behavior to me.
Well, don't we have a lot to get through today? I apologise for the voiceover. I'm currently not at home, but I'm back tomorrow. I have a lot to go through in terms of what is going on in the Blake Lively universe. I'm aware that I'm a little bit late to covering this interview, but it's not just the interview that has been making the rounds. We also have the fact that Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, has decided to release a nail polish line, which is completely tone deaf. We also have Blake Lively's hair product, which has not had the best reviews possible, and I can't really work out whether or not this is because of her controversy. Does that make people slightly biased? But either way, with the reviews are starting to roll out.
I'm here to de-influence you from getting the Blake Brown line from Blake Lively, and I almost didn't even make this video because I'm honestly so embarrassed that I got it anyway. When I tell you that my hair has never felt so unhealthy in my entire life, like what did she put in this thing?
If you're not Blake Lively, just keep scrolling. This video is only for Blake. It smells great. It's amazing. I only use the shampoo because everything else was sold out, and you don't believe in conditioner. And this is how my hair turned out. So I'm having a huge hair crisis right now. I know you're super busy with your premiere, but please help save my hair.
Packaging is just very clunky. This stuff's gonna be a nightmare in your shower. I'm so sorry.
We then also have people who are coming out of the woodwork and saying that they were on set with her, and people were always extremely hush-hush and didn't really want to say too much about Blake.
Blakey, just be nice.
But first off, we're going to be taking a little trip down to this reporter who I believe her name is Kirsty, basically goes by Kirsty. She is a Norwegian reporter. I'm really struggling with pronouncing her name, but she says that everyone calls her Kirsty because it's easier.
What's your last name?
FLA is my last name.
FLA?
Do you know why I'm wondering what it is? Her name was just very interesting.
Say it again.
My first name is Shashti. Shashti.
Do you have a short nickname?
I call myself Kirsty. Because,
Kirsty? Okay, that's your name. Now I would not know. If I saw that, I'd go Kirsty Flaw.
Everyone does that.
Do they?
That's why I say Kirsty.
Kirsty!
Yeah.
You look like a Kirsty.
I do.
Pretty color purple.
Thank you.
Well, she had been sitting on this interview that she did where she was interviewing Blake Lively and her co-star, and they were absolutely horrible to her. And I've watched this interview back several times, and I just can't understand why either of them would come in with so much hate. She was about 7-8 months pregnant. You're visibly pregnant. I feel like that is an icebreaker.
7. First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got 2 nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Me of the 2 bitchy girls in high school. That is what this reminds me of. And it's not cool. No matter how you want to look at it, it's not cute. It's not on. Especially as it comes out that Blake Lively interviewer reveals she was struggling with infertility during traumatizing press junket. And it doesn't get any better, because both of them start going on about how all men never get asked about what clothes they're wearing, etc, etc, and the reporters just sat there like, I'd ask the men. Not to mention just so hypocritical. This is so hypocritical, because all that we've really heard from Blake Lively's mouth about this film is how she did the outfits for her character and she borrows her husband's clothes. Literally the only thing she's been going on about is the wardrobe, is the girl's wardrobe, is what she's wearing, her Lily Bloom character. That is all she's been saying. So for her to make this reporter feel so small about asking a simple question about wardrobe is just insane to me.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's suits
That's what I'm saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
Those
high-waisted pants. I wish men wore high-waisted pants like that still. Or,
Me too.
or the father with his tank top in bed.
It's so
Just
good.
like, it's just like
Did you
that.
catch
You could
the,
feel
the
it.
tablecloth on the light in the Italian restaurant when they eat
I
spaghetti?
didn't
and
notice that.
There's
Yeah,
so
I feel
much
like-
warmth of everything, you know.
Yeah, it's not just the women that have the clothes.
But
I feel like the women
Victoria-
get the conversation, but it's like
Yeah.
every detail with everybody.
We then also have them both going on tangents about fame and how people are perceived in Hollywood. Fame and money doesn't equate happiness. It was just so uncomfortable. Why would you agree to go and be interviewed if you don't really want to be interviewed? You're just making someone else feel so uncomfortable, because the way these two acted was not only unprofessional, but it's not being a nice human being. You don't treat people like that.
And then
What do you feel like is the biggest misconceptions about fame and Hollywood in general?
The idea that people think that they know you, I think because of the how intrusive media is these days. People care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you. So I think the biggest misconception I see often is people feeling like they know someone that they don't. They know what the media has created of someone, and the disappointing thing is when you meet the people, they're always so much more awesome than they're portrayed to. I mean, that's normally my experience. And even people that are portrayed to be really great people, they're just a lot more complicated and interesting and nuanced and caring and thoughtful. That's always nice, you know, to see that your idea of someone isn't always who they actually are.
The irony of this is not lost on me. There she is going on about how they're going to be portrayed in the media and how it's not a good reflection of who they are, etc., and people will twist it. The interview has made both of them look awful. Absolutely horrendous. I don't know how you'd be able to twist this into something positive. So yeah, the irony is not lost on me.
You don't like are we swapping cards?
That's my phone. Hold on a second.
No, she wasn't saying she didn't like it. She was talking about, you asked what perceptions were,
Yeah.
and she was saying that fame or success
There's
or
a
money
misconception.
doesn't equate happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, guys.
I mean, just look at her face. What is that face about? What is it about? Change your face. What's going on? So the reporter has then released this to YouTube, released it to the public, and she then comes out and does an interview with TMZ where she explains a little bit as to why she decided to make that decision. And the crux of it was that she felt really embarrassed. She didn't want to have to release this. You know, she didn't want to release this whole time. This was her chance. She has been holding on to this interview for this long and just drops that bomb right when it's most needed. And I feel really, really, really bad for her. I really do.
And his interview was confiscated afterwards. And he asked me, have you ever experienced anything like that? And I said, no, I've never got my tape confiscated, but of course I've had like very unpleasant experiences. And we started talking about the Blake Lively interview. And then, you know, I've never uploaded that to YouTube because I was kind of like embarrassed by it. And I felt, you know, in that situation, I felt a little ashamed at first because I didn't know what happened. I didn't know what I said that was so bad that made her and Parker behave like that. You know, I think it's important to let people know that these things goes on, and maybe it can help or prevent it from happening again. Someone said, oh, it's funny you're doing this now. Have you seen this other controversy? And to be honest with you, I hadn't. I was invited to a press screening of the movie, so I'd seen the movie, but I had no idea about all the other stuff. And some of that now makes sense to me. I didn't know anything about him at all. And I read about what had happened. And I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. Considering how she was acting in front of me, I'm thinking, okay, maybe she wasn't the easiest person to work with. I don't know. I can't really comment on it because I wasn't there, so I don't know the real story here. There is a reason sometimes why rumors, you know, will appear. For me, it was just a conversation starter. You know, she was sitting there. I think she was probably 8 months pregnant. She had it wasn't a small bump even. It was quite big. Just wanted to say it in a kind of disarming way, you know, congrats on your little bump. I don't understand still why that is offensive. I find it a little offensive that she said it back to me, to be honest with you. I was like, do I have a bump? Yeah, it was strange behavior to me. If she wants to apologize, that would be amazing. I think if you behave badly, if you own up to that and own it and say, you know, I had a terrible day, I'm so sorry. And maybe she will learn something.
I do think that if we ever get an apology out of Blake for the way that she has treated other people who are just trying to do their job, it's going to be a very PR crafted one, just like the response that she did on her Instagram stories where she suddenly started speaking up about domestic abuse, domestic violence survivors. She then all of a sudden, it was because she was put into a corner where she had to do it to save face. I just know that out there somewhere is Miss JLo, Miss Jenny from the block herself, just cackling, laughing, eating some popcorn or whatever she's doing, just mega stoked that she is not being brought up, that it's no longer her anymore. It is all about Blake Lively.
Grounding, and I hope that people see that, because this is a story that covers domestic violence, but it's not about domestic violence, it's about this woman.
So I've seen a couple of these confessionals around. There's this one of this woman called Jack, I think that's how you say her name, and she was saying that when she was on the set of Gossip Girl, everyone would gloat and gush about how nice some of the other cast members were, pretty much all the other ones, but when it came to Blake, no one said a single thing. It was one of those, if you've got nothing nice to say, then just don't say anything at all about a person, and that's kind of what she was thinking of. And there are a few of these little confessionals floating around TikTok.
Now, I don't personally know if Blake Lively is a mean girl, but I do have a story about it. Well, about her. Like 10 years ago, I used to work as a stand-in and a photo double on Gossip Girl, and there was one episode that I met the whole cast besides Blake and Leighton, and I was talking to the PAs, and I said, oh, damn, I really wish Blake and Leighton were here. I would have loved to meet them. I'm such a fan of the show. Who wouldn't want to meet Blair and Serena? PAs were all like, oh yeah, Leighton is so nice. She's so sweet. She's so fun. She's so caring. On and on and on about Leighton. They didn't say anything about Blake, and I very specifically said I would want to meet both of them, and they just gushed and gushed about Leighton and didn't say a word, nothing about Blake. You know the old saying, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all, especially if you're a professional working with this actress. I don't know, that was always really weird to me, and now seeing all of this come out, Blakey, just be nice.
And I'm going to be completely honest, this story does not surprise me. Neither do the other stories that I've also heard that I've seen loitering around the TikTok streets. They do not surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore about what has now come out about Blake. Her and Ryan Reynolds now just give me complete and utter fakeness. Honestly, just fakeness. When everyone is saying, up until this point, I don't think I'd ever really heard her say that much. I just knew her for the Met Gala looks and being on Gossip Girl. I didn't really know much about her, and now that I know a bit about her, I'm kind of wishing that I didn't. But you know what has been massively surprising me? The author of It Ends With Us, Colleen Hoover, has come out with a nail polish line, and I'm pretty sure something else as well. And I first heard about this over on TikTok, but now I found a Daily Mail article where they're saying that Colleen Hoover is being slammed. Now, as we realised a few videos ago now, she might have unprivated her account, but her account on TikTok and Instagram, it was private. She just privated it, probably because she was getting quite a lot of flack. But now it seems that people are annoyed about the whole nail polish thing and how none of the proceeds are going to any DVDA charity, no fundraisers, no words of acknowledgement, no organisations linked, none of that. It's literally just profiting off of it. And this was actually earlier this year, so this was in March. Best-selling author Colleen Hoover is furiously slammed after launching a nail polish collection inspired by her novel about domestic violence. Hoover recently announced her collaboration with nail salon brand Olive & June, releasing a collection of coloured varnishes and press-on nails inspired by Colleen's best-selling titles. The shades, which are also available to purchase in Target stores, are all named after characters and settings in Hoover's books, but one controversial colour in the nail polish line is called Brave Blush. Readers were quick to criticise the novelist's decision to release the book-themed nail varnish, particularly in reference to It Ends With Us. The latest furor comes after Colleen was forced to pull an adult colouring book based on the same novel last year. She later apologised for the insensitive activity book and it ceased production. Discussing her latest endeavour, one observer fumed, "This is wildly inappropriate. I'm always the first defending these books, but good God, this is just ridiculous. This is romanticising abuse." Yeah, This is a colouring book that I believe was pulled, and I do remember seeing something a bit like this. Maybe it wasn't this exact one, but I remember seeing a bit of hubbub.
No, because who woke up one morning and thought, you know what? Let's turn a book about domestic violence into a coloring book, because that's a wonderful idea. It's not. Like, what are we going to be drawing? Stairs? How do you illustrate domestic abuse? You don't. I'm at a loss for words. I just checked my Goodreads to see when I read this. September of 2017. I was 14. I tagged it as bad but still read. It's not a happy rom-com-y book. It's a dark book with sensitive topics about domestic abuse. You don't make that into a coloring book. I know I can't be the only one thinking this because I've seen so many videos, and Miss Colleen Hoover took the coloring book off her Instagram. Like, what?
So I'm just a little bit confused as to why the colouring book was a no-go, but suddenly you're coming out with a shade of nail polish called Brave Blush. Brave Blush. Really? Really? Honestly, it's wild. It is so wild that this is even happening. But here we are. So the author, Colleen Hoover, and Blake Lively, they're a match made in heaven. They're an absolute match made in heaven. They're both so tone deaf to what's going on. I mean, you really couldn't make this stuff up, even if you tried. It's been incredible what we have found out about these people so far. But I hope you guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to say in today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.